We're going to dive into external manufacturing. This is the orchestration that probably has just as many transactions as logistics does. And so from you all's seats, do you all, who all interacts with CMOs or is a CMO? Well, who are the CMOs in the room? We got one. Okay. Who works with CMOs directly from their role? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
So just going through external manufacturing, we've got quite a few people that work on one side or the other side on this particular orchestration. And typically, the majority of conversations we're having with customers at the moment is around external manufacturing. It seems to be, I want to say, a bit of a pain in some respects from what we're hearing, but it's definitely got its challenges. So again, similar format to the other orchestrations that we've been through. These are the transactions that we typically discuss. Now, again, like the other orchestrations as well, there'll be some that maybe some companies don't want to exchange with their partners. But in terms of all the lessons that we've learned in terms of talking to customers, this is kind of the full set of transactions, starting with the forecast planning schedule, going right down to remittance. And most of these, quite a few of these we've already gone through already. So again, it's the same transaction, but a different pairing. So this time it's MAH and CMO that we're talking about, and bidirectional. So again, the same transaction can be used in different pairings of different companies.
And I had a question. So we have a CMO here.
Yeah.
Because we talk a lot about from the MAH perspective of how they interact with different partners. From a CMO perspective in a digital space, how do you all view the supply chain, if you don't mind? From your perspective, looking down to your customers who are ordering from you, is there a digital struggle? Is there a challenge with the manual interaction of transactions, or any thoughts you want to share?
We do have, like, for example, speaking from my own, I'm from Thermo Fisher. I'll be actually speaking on this tomorrow. We do interact with our customer digitally. And some of the transactions which you have put forward, some of them we do. And one of the most important is the forecast, because it takes time for us to produce it. So forecast is something which we really look forward to. And then after that is the actual order itself. One of the things which I think we can do better is in terms of, when is the product going to be shipped to the customer, right? So every customer wants to know, where is my stuff? When is it going to get shipped, right? That is the most important. And there is not that much of visibility for example, 90% of the items we ship on time. The 10% of the items which do not cause almost 100% of the noise. And how do we get visibility into that, right? That 10%, because other 90% ships on time, nobody perhaps even sees it. But the others is where you would like the visibility. Okay, this is going to ship, or this is delayed because of this reason, and it's going to ship on this particular date. How much in advance can you give that information to the customer? I think that is what a customer will really appreciate. That is what I think the customers are looking for. Any customer here would like to say yes or no to that?
Great. So for that 10%, then, how do you communicate those delays with your customers?
Yes. So it is Excel hell, right? So when these orders get delayed at all levels, there is communication between the manufacturer, the CMO, and the customer. And at all levels, people are trying to figure out why it is late. The planning team will talk to the customer service team, and then up the chain, and then it's all. I would say that's where there's a lot of work for very little return, because that data doesn't exist in a format that can be shared easily with the customer. And that is why we have this struggle. And I think I've seen this in multiple places. And that is where I think if we can take care of that and have something like what, I do not know if I can name my previous employer. They did what is a project called WIMS, Where Is My Stuff? It was a 3-year endeavor so that whatever happened inside was communicated to the customer. So at any point of time, whether you call or whether you look online, you'll get the same exact info. And what we saw was the amount of calls to our customer service team really decreased because of this, because it was available online and it was accurate.
Yeah. And online, you mean through some sort of portal?
Portal, exactly.
And that was built in-house?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And there was a team managing that portal, making sure it was all up to date?
Right.
all
So
the time,
basically,
right?
it was getting the data out of SAP.
Right, okay, great. All right, brilliant, thank you.
Okay.
So, so the last couple of transactions that we haven't kind of discussed is forecast, planning, response. So you've sent your schedule out. Did it get received? Has it been checked? Do you want some sort of response? And we hear this all the time. And it's, again, similar format. We've got kind of key data fields there. But again, the response today is maybe a telephone call. It's crazy that today we actually hear companies using WhatsApp. Great for social communication, but I'm not sure it's great for real business. But it's true, people are using it. And again, going back to fax, sometimes it's still fax machines. So again, getting your forecast, plan, response directly into your system of record, your enterprise system, is something that's absolutely key and what customers really want to receive. Okay, and then batch creation. So this is also quite tightly linked to some of the batch creation transactions we also have on our track and trace side of the solutions as well. But just a show of hands, or anyone can explain, do you receive batch creation transactions today from your CMOs?
I'd imagine that's a lot of head shaking.
Yeah.
No.
Or via
Would you like to?
spreadsheet PDF?
Is it?
Spreadsheet PDF? Any batch data come over at once a batch is completed?
Because you want the batch number.
You receive it, but it's too late, right? Or it's later.
Right. And what's too late?
I mean, it's not on the day or the day after that it has been produced. It's rather end of month or like that.
Right. Because the batch number or the lot number is put onto your products through production, right? So
Exactly. So they should tell us immediately, right? That
Right.
How we have created this.
And sorry to pick on you, Thermo Fisher. Sorry. So what do you do with this as a CMO in terms of giving that batch details to MAH customers, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I mean, like he said, by the time we create the batch, I mean, for the ones for which it's on time, it doesn't add value to them. But for the ones which are late, it's too late by the time we create the batch. Basically, it's already late.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, there are batch creation for us at least, is that there are multiple batches which are created, but they are not for the finished good. It's for the in-between steps. So batch creation by itself may be helpful, may be confusing. What would be good is, hey, when is my order number Y, line number X going to be delivered?
Yeah.
Right? That is what I think the customers are looking for. Batch creation may be helpful, but it can be confusing too, because there are a lot of batches which are created which go into the finished good.
Correct. Yeah, and I suppose it depends on the volumes as well, and how many batches that particular MAH is putting through your company as well.
Yeah.
But then again, that can also be managed directly through your enterprise system on the MAH side, right? And how that's set up within your ERP system. Again, if you're working manually, that's can be quite challenging. But having the data feed through digitally can definitely help with that overall process.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or questions?
Does our quality person in the room, do you deal with, is not on the batch side? Okay. So we hear from a lot of the quality professionals as well that when they, having the batch data would help them do a lot of work that they do manually today. They can do it a lot quicker. They have the batch information on time. They do quality checks. If there is a recall, they need information around it. To the both points made, it can be cumbersome, but I think, again, in a digital format, once you understand what data can come across in a batch file, and a batch creation file, and delineate those two, batch creation file, you can now look at your other organization and say, who uses this data? I think as we round out this last transaction, that's a lot of the thought we think about with these transactions is, as you look at the data fields that are possible in here, you can reach out to other departments, finance, even IT, if you think about it. Finance, IT, supply chain, quality, the warehousing, supply chain, product groups. What data can be used across multiple areas in your business that may be, I won't say buried, but it's a subset of information that you didn't know your counterpart even used. All right, so keep that in mind as we kind of talk through the remainder of these.
So again, you know, we've discussed the purchase order, the invoice, and the remittance advice. So we're not going to go through all of these transactions again, but again, can be used in this external manufacturing kind of financial flow. And likewise, again, the forecast planning schedule we spoke about in the previous orchestration and just went through the response now, and then batch creation. One thing I just want to highlight on the inventory side of things is, so again, we have a lot of conversations today around the MAH buys the API material, excipient material on behalf of the CMOs. Just kind of a quick show of hand, who does that here, or who outsources it to the CMO to buy all the raw materials for the products? Or is it a mix of both? Yeah. You purchase it all?
Not all.
Not all.
Some part of it purchased by the
Okay.
customer.
Because there's some government agencies that demand a report within 24 hours on materials that are issued, produced, and consumed, which is kind of a flavour of the inventory transaction that we have here, and with something that TraceLink supports today as well. And you have 24 hours, and this is specifically a customer I was speaking to in Germany, and they couldn't do it in 24 hours currently with all the manual spreadsheets, emails, going through different inboxes, some people were on leave, all that kind of usual stuff that you hear about. And then you're fined by the regulations. If you can't support or show, you know, how much API was sent, how much was used, how many kilograms of powder, for example, it can become very, very difficult, especially if you have a large SAP, ERP, it's hard to get that data out. So having those transactions that supply that data in an area with your ERP that you can easily surface and run a report can save you time, save you money, and be compliant with the regulators.